Okay, welcome back to another Coffee and a Chat and a Survival Saturday edition. This is what I've been talking about doing, and I kind of wanted to do, maybe just share some of the things that we do to make ends meet, to stretch a dollar, to provide what we need, etc. When times get tough, and it's getting tough for some of us, we have to kind of change our mindset and look at things a little differently. Maybe things that we're used to having conveniences and comforts and stuff aren't necessarily available or affordable anymore. And so we just have to figure something else out. Now, before I tell you what my little tip is today that I'm going to share with you, and some of these things you may just think that is just totally crazy and I would never do that. That's fine. But if even one person goes, you know what, that could really help me out, then I think the video has accomplished its goal. If just even, like I say, one person gets a little bit of help out of it. So I want to say that, when things started to change for Marvin and I, and we had to start getting creative and make some sacrifices and some changes in our lives. One of the things that really helped me is my parents, my grandparents, Marvin's as well, they all came through the Great Depression 100 years ago. And so I learned a lot from, especially my grandmother, that, telling me different things that they used to have to do, and how life changed for them, but how they found a way to get through it and to survive in a world that was rapidly changing for them. And I'm in a world that's rapidly changing for me, and I have to find ways to make it work. So one of the things my grandma told me, because they had certain principles, like one, you didn't throw everything away anymore. You tried to get as much use as you possibly could out of everything. You learned how to repurpose things, how to figure out how to use what you already had in order to make things work. And, this is definitely part of Marvin's and my mindset and how we do life. And so today I'm going to share just one of my simple little things that actually really, really helps me out a lot. And that's, I'm going to tell you how to take this, because you know what this is? This is that last piece of soap that is just not much left to it. And I have always used my soap down to just as little as I could get it. But then, what do you do with this? And I just toss it. Well, now I turn it into this, okay? And, oh, that doesn't look too good on camera. This looks much prettier in real life than on camera. This was a soap dispenser my mom had, and so I've hung on to it, and I've got little soap dispensers pretty much by, I think, just about every sink. I might be short one, but anyway. Now when I first did this, I saw some videos on this, and they were saying, oh, you can make your shampoo out of the ends and wash your dishes and all that. I don't like it for any of that stuff, because it really leaves, I think, a residue. And I definitely don't like it for my hair. And yeah, it just doesn't seem like it really is all that great for dishes. But, in a pinch, if nothing else worked, then I would do it. But this, can make a lot of hand soap. And so that way I'm using every last bit of this. Nothing gets thrown away. And when you're trying to survive, you learn to try not to throw things away. If you can get a purpose out of it, you do that instead. So when I first saw, different videos on this and stuff, everything always seemed so complicated. But I don't know, at first I was into that. Like, I felt like I was really doing something, and I'd get a grater out and I'd grate the soap up, and then I would put it in a pot and add the water and maybe a vitamin E capsule because I saw that with somebody, you know, they're like, oh, then you don't have to worry about mold or mildew in it. You don't have to worry about that anyway, trust me. You know, and you'd cook it on the stove and to a certain consistency, and then you'd cool it down. And I don't know. You know, I could make a big production out of it if I really had all the time in the world and needed to be making a big production, but I don't. And so, you know, what's that old thing? Work smarter, not harder. Yeah, Marvin's always saying that to me. Well, I think I figured out something that it works for me. I don't know how anybody else feels about it, but I like to keep things as easy and simple and, yeah, hands-free as possible. So what I do is I take these little pieces of soap and I break them up. I'll just do that now. Break them up into small little pieces. And then I've got a jar here that I put them in, okay? This one's coming along quite nicely. So I break it in to just little pieces. It's very easy to do. The piece of soap is very soft. Whoops. And then I drop a piece. But I found it, so we'll waste nothing. And put it in here, okay? And like when I first started the jar, I just always keep adding to this jar. I started it, I don't know, a long time ago, and I just keep adding to it. But I put my ends of my soap in there, and then I filled it up with water. And now I can't even get the lid on it. It's wanting to go on crooked. Come on, there we go. Okay, put my lid on tight, and then I shake. I just give it a few shakes to get that incorporated in there, because you don't really have to do a lot of shake. I always have to do both arms, you know, because I don't want one arm being more muscular than the other and being off balance. Okay, so I shake that. Okay, and then this, I set it by my kitchen sink, by the window where warm sunlight hits it every day, because I think that kind of helps speed up the process. But even just within a few hours, you've got some soapy water in here, and the longer it sits and the more pieces you put in there, the thicker it gets. And in fact, I had that be an issue where it was too thick. But then I just, you know, take a funnel and then I pour off the top, because there'll still be some solid pieces that tend to go down. But even when they're just little lumps, they continue to do what they're doing in the jar. They continue to do in the dispenser. And like this one's a little on the watery side, but you kind of do want it a little on the watery side. I find if it gets too thick, it doesn't want to come through the pump very good, and then it'll kind of dry up in there and clog it, and yeah. But when I keep it a little on the thin side, it works better, and I don't have that issue. I just have to hold my hand, you know, make sure it's going to shoot into the hand, because otherwise when it's watery, some of my dispensers will overshoot my hand. So I've just got to feel for it. But, you know, I'll even shake these up, you know, because just kind of incorporating that more. And so then I've got a liquid hand soap that really costs me nothing. I make it out of something that I normally would have just thrown away. And now that's not being thrown away at all. And every last smidgen of that bar of soap gets used up. So not just washing my hands, but I do because I do a very simple mixture that I use for washing my clothes, because I can't afford to buy laundry soap, so I have to make my own, and I have a very inexpensive way that I do that, and you know, that'll be one of these videos. I'll tell you what I do. Very simple, very easy. I try to keep things as simple as I can and as non-time consuming as possible. But I will I'll take my jar and I will pour some of this in with my laundry, like especially if it's something really that's kind of smelly, like when I'm doing cleaning rags or something, because I find that this really helps deodorize my laundry. I don't pour a lot in. I just kind of do a little pour around, and I don't know if I measured it. I don't know, a third of a cup maybe that it would measure out to. I wouldn't think it'd be more than a half a cup if it's that, but I just put some in there, and it just really helps. My laundry comes out smelling a lot better, because one of the problems with laundry is water never really goes not all the water leaves your machine. Some stays in there. And so like I leave my lid open when I'm not using my washer, when it's not running, because I need that air to, help things evaporate and air that out, because that little bit of water sitting in there all the time, that gets kind of a little funk to it. And I do find that when I run this, and vinegar helps with that too, but when I run this with a load, then my laundry smells fresher. And then hang it out on the line and it really smells fresh. But anyway, that's just kind of my first little thing that is extremely simple and easy to do. And, and we're blessed, because even, buying bar soap, I used to buy it, I'd buy really as pure a soap as I could get with no perfumes or anything, because I'm trying to keep chemicals out of our lives, because chemicals are a problem and not good for us. And so I used to, when I could afford to go to the store and get what I needed, I would always buy, every time I went, I'd buy a big thing of bar soap, and thinking, that, prices only go up, and I was just, I'd find a good deal and I'd buy it. And thought that soap would last a long time. That soap's already all gone. But a friend of mine, her parents had passed away, and they had a ton of bar soap that she didn't really like. So she wanted to know, did I want it? And it's like, and that's another thing. When you're trying to survive, you learn to say yes to just about anything that people like. Could you use this? Now, when people are trying to give me electrical, like crock pots or something, I have some, but that's not what I'm looking for, because I'm trying to do less and less electricity. Because again, you need to have things, when you're surviving, you've got to have things that you're not dependent on something else to make it run. So, even in our garden, we have those old cultivators and stuff, that with the big wheel, and you just push it, and like they used, 100, 200 years ago. And we have those that we can use. We also have rototillers, but if we didn't have gas for the rototillers, those things, those plow things, they work really, really good. And we've got, I think, 3 different kinds, that they all do something a little bit different in how they tear that ground up. And so every time I go out to the garden, I haven't started it this year. I was looking at it today, and I need to get those out and get them ready to go, because last year, every time I'd go to the garden, I'd just do another row. So I was constantly keeping that garden broke up, and it's so much easier than using a hoe. But if that's all I had, I was using a hoe out there the other day, because that's what was there. And, people used to live without these modern conveniences, and that's what I keep telling myself. So how did they do it? And so anyway, I'm not having to make my own soap yet. I suppose that could come, and I'd be making wood ash soap, because I got lots of wood ash, and be doing it that way. But, for this takes care of those ends. It reduces the amount of garbage I have, and it stretches that dollar a little further and puts it to good use. So, and you might find you like it for other things too, because like I said, I do know some people, they do use it for their dish soap and all. If that's all I have, then I have done that before. I just don't like it as well. I don't know. It's just different in the water, because it wasn't made to do that. So anyhow, it's finding what you've got, what you can do with it, and making it work. So there's a tip for today. There'll be another one next Saturday. So I don't know which one it'll be. We'll see, because I've got lots of things to share with you guys. So I hope you're having an awesome Saturday today. It's Memorial Day weekend. Be safe, be smart, and I'll talk to you again real soon. All right, I love you guys. Bye.